Frugal versus thrifty. Which one actually builds more wealth? Have you ever been standing in a store, holding a $5 item, debating whether you really need it, while someone else spends $500 without a second thought? And yet somehow, the person who spent $500 might actually be making the smarter financial decision. Sounds crazy, right? Most people think frugal and thrifty mean the same thing. They picture clipping coupons, buying generic brands, and stretching every dollar. But in reality, these two are very different. One of these mindsets focuses on spending less. The other focuses on getting more value. And if you don't understand the difference, you could be saving money in ways that actually make your life harder, while missing opportunities to build real wealth. Today, we're breaking down frugal living versus thrifty living, the advantages and disadvantages of each approach, and how to combine the best parts of both so you can improve your finances without feeling deprived. Before we dive in, if you want to learn more about frugal living, check out my affiliate link in the video description for a great book on the subject. Let's get into it. Section 1. What is frugal living? Let's start with frugal living. Frugal living is all about reducing expenses and avoiding unnecessary spending. The frugal person asks, how can I spend less? They focus on cutting expenses, avoiding waste, delaying purchases, using what they already have, finding free alternatives. A frugal person might brew coffee at home, cancel unused subscriptions, drive an older vehicle, cook meals instead of eating out, wear clothing until it truly needs replacing. Now, don't get me wrong, these are excellent habits. In fact, many financially successful people developed wealth partly because they mastered spending discipline. The biggest strength of frugal living is that it creates awareness. Instead of letting money disappear without thought, every dollar gets a purpose. But frugality can also go too far. Some people become so focused on saving money that they ignore quality, convenience, or even their own happiness. They might spend 3 hours driving across town to save $2. That's not always smart money management. That's sometimes just being cheap. And cheap is not the same thing as frugal. Section 2. What is thrifty living? Now let's talk about thriftiness. A thrifty person asks a different question. How can I get the most value? Notice the difference. Not the lowest price, the highest value. A thrifty person might buy a high-quality pair of shoes that last 10 years. Purchase used furniture instead of new. Wait for sales on items they already planned to buy. Invest in tools that save money long-term. Learn skills that reduce future expenses. A thrifty person understands something important. Sometimes spending more today saves far more tomorrow. For example, you could buy a $20 pair of shoes every year, or buy a $120 pair that lasts 6 years. The second option costs more upfront, but less over time. That's thriftiness. It's value-focused rather than price-focused. The biggest strength of thriftiness is efficiency. It helps you maximize the return on every dollar you spend. However, thriftiness has a weakness too. People can sometimes justify purchases by convincing themselves they're getting a great deal. Ever bought something simply because it was 50% off? Congratulations, you've experienced thrifty logic. The problem is that buying something you don't need at half price is still spending money. Section 3. Frugal versus thrifty in real life. Let's look at a few everyday examples. Grocery shopping. A frugal shopper buys the cheapest product. A thrifty shopper compares price, quality, nutrition, and waste. The cheapest food isn't always the best deal if half of it gets thrown away. Clothing. A frugal shopper buys the lowest cost shirt. A thrifty shopper buys a shirt that fits well, lasts longer, and requires fewer replacements. Transportation. A frugal person might keep driving an older vehicle. A thrifty person evaluates repair costs, reliability, insurance, fuel efficiency, and resale value. Home maintenance. A frugal homeowner postpones repairs. A thrifty homeowner fixes problems before they become expensive disasters. Technology. A frugal person may use an outdated device long after it stops being productive. A thrifty person upgrades when the improvement saves time, increases income, or improves efficiency. The key lesson here is that thriftiness looks at total value. Frugality looks at immediate cost. Both have their place. Section 4. The danger of extremes. Here's where many people get into trouble. They pick one extreme. Extreme frugality can create stress, guilt over spending, missed experiences, reduced quality of life, relationship conflicts. On the other hand, extreme thriftiness can become an excuse for overspending. People start saying things like, "It's an investment. It's a great deal. It'll save me money eventually." Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's just a fancy justification. The healthiest financial approach sits somewhere in the middle. You don't want to pinch every penny, but you also don't want every purchase to become a smart investment. Balance matters. Section 5. How to use both to build wealth. Here's the approach that tends to work best. Be frugal with the things that don't matter. Be thrifty with the things that do. For example, be frugal with impulse purchases, subscription services, restaurant meals, convenience spending, bank fees, energy waste, but be thrifty with education, health, quality tools, reliable transportation, insurance coverage, income-producing skills. Think about it this way. The goal isn't to spend as little as possible. The goal is to get the maximum benefit from every dollar. When you combine frugality and thriftiness, you create a powerful system. Frugality creates savings. Thriftiness creates value. Together, they create wealth. Bringing it all together. So which is better, frugal living or thrifty living? The answer is both. Frugality teaches discipline. Thriftiness teaches value. One protects your money. The other maximizes your money. And when you learn to use both wisely, you stop feeling like you're sacrificing everything just to get ahead financially. Instead, you start making intentional decisions that improve your finances while still allowing you to enjoy life. Because building wealth isn't about deprivation. It's about making every dollar work harder for you. If you found value in this information, that's awesome. That's my goal. Please like and subscribe to help my channel grow. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. Do you consider yourself more frugal or more thrifty? And if you're working toward financial freedom, make sure to subscribe because every week we share practical strategies to save more, spend smarter, and build lasting wealth. Finally, remember to check out my affiliate link in the video description for a great book on frugal living that includes tips, guidance, and many examples to put this lifestyle into practice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.